welcome to this week's legislative update from Disability Rights South Dakota. This is the update for March 5th, 2023. This will be the last update that we'll provide for the 2023 legislative session in South Dakota. After this week, the bills that we've been talking about will be all taken care of. They'll either have been completed and no longer moving forward, or they will have been sent to the governor's desk where she will either sign them into law or will veto the bills. For the next couple of weeks, the legislature will be working on various concurrent resolutions and working through the appropriations phase of the bills that have been talked about here. But the final work by the legislative body as a whole and the committees will be completed. So this will be the last time we update this year. Thank you very much for keeping up with our updates. If you've been watching and following along, we look forward to doing this again in future legislative cycles. And hopefully as we go through this process, we'll just continue to get better and better all the time. So, very quickly, and moving through the bills for this week, just as we've done in the past, we'll start with House Bill 1010. House Bill 1010 repealed the sunset date for provisions related to licensure of behavior analysts. This bill removes the sunset provision of the Session Law, Section 28, Chapter 199, and that just means that those provisions will remain in statute after July 1, 2024, which was the date previously set for those to end. That bill has been signed by the governor and will become law on July 1, 2023. Next bill, House Bill 1034, modifies tax refunds for elderly persons and persons with a disability and make appropriations therefore and to declare emergency. This creates a fund of $450,000 to provide refunds to elderly and disabled persons for real property tax and sales tax. It also increases the income limits for eligibility to receive these refunds. This bill has been signed by the governor and will become law. House Bill 1037, amend the eligibility for admission to the state's Veterans Home and repeal the residency requirement. This bill was sent to the 41st day by the Senate Military and Veterans Affairs Committee. That means that the bill is dead and will not become law this year. House Bill 1044, establish scholarships for individuals pursuing careers in the behavioral health field and to make appropriations therefor, and to declare an emergency. This bill has been tabled by the Joint Committee on Appropriations, which means that it hadn't been passed, of course, but there's a chance that this bill will come up in discussions by the appropriations process in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out for that. House Bill 1046, provide free tuition at the Board of Technical Education institutions for children or spouses of members of the South Dakota National Guard who were disabled or deceased in the line of duty. So this bill would provide that children under 25 whose parents sustained a permanent and total disability or who died while serving with the South Dakota National Guard or a spouse of a soldier wounded or killed in action, such as described above, will be eligible for free tuition to any South Dakota technical institution. This has previously been the case for universities and colleges under the Board of Regents. This just expands it to technical schools. This bill has been signed by the governor and will go into effect July 1, 2023. House Bill 1052, change the eligibility requirements of a property tax relief program for disabled veterans and surviving spouses. Unlike the last bill, this bill has been deferred to the 41st day and therefore has died for this legislative year. House Bill 1078, make an appropriation to the Department of Human Services for the development and expansion of adult day service programs and to declare an emergency. This is a House bill that's gone all the way through the House of Representatives, their committees, was sent over to the Senate, was heard by the Senate there, and was recommended do pass on the floor of the Senate and will be sent to the governor for signature or veto very soon. House Bill 1079, making appropriations to the Department of Health to provide grants to support mental health and suicide prevention programs and to declare an emergency. Same as before, this House bill has made it through the House side and their committees. Was sent to Joint Committee on Appropriations, amended a few times, but ultimately ended up in the Senate and passed the Senate floor and will be sent to the governor for her signature or veto. House Bill 1086, create provisions for the psychiatric collaborative care model to be reimbursable for insurance. This bill was deferred to the 41st day by the House Health and Human Services Committee. House Bill 1103, waive the fee for non-driver identification cards for individuals at or below the poverty level. This bill was sent to the 41st day by the House Transportation Committee. It will not be heard. It will not be sent to the governor. House Bill 1128, revise provisions pertaining to absentee voting at nursing facilities, assisted living centers, or hospitals, sent to the 41st day. House Bill 1138, require updated cost report information for certain community-based health and human service providers. This bill made it all the way through the House, their committees, was amended, sent over to the Senate, made it through the Senate committee hearings, but then on the House floor, the Senate floor, it failed to pass the full body of that chamber, failing to pass by a count of 16 yeas and 19 nays. This bill died on the Senate floor. House Bill 1167, annually adjust the rate for community-based providers to 100% of methodology. This is one bill that we have been watching very closely with Disability Rights South Dakota. I'm glad to say that it has been moved through the House and the Senate. So far, it's receiving good response. What it states is that community-based provider rates must be set to 100% of methodology annually. This bill continues to move through the process. Last it was on the Senate floor, was deferred to another day, and will be heard by the full Senate chamber on Monday, March 6th. House Bill 1174, provide for appropriate civil commitment of certain persons. This has moved through the calendar pretty easily. This defines the criteria of immediate danger of physical injury to self and others. It also defines the scope of offenses for which a civil commitment can be sought after a dismissal of charge. House Bill 1195, continued enhanced and transitional rates for community services and support providers. This bill made it through the committee hearings on the House side, but died on the House floor. House Bill 1217, modify the requirements for eligibility to vote by absentee ballot. This bill also died on the floor of the House of Representatives. House Bill 1218, amend documentation requirements for emotional support animals in a rental dwelling unit. This bill was deferred to the 41st day and will not be heard any longer in this legislative year. House Bill 1240, amend provisions for addressing guardianships and conservatorships. This bill proposes to amend South Dakota codified law regarding guardianships and conservatorships. It adds a section which would require a report from a healthcare provider if the person who would be the subject of that guardianship or conservative contests the appointment of a guardian conservator. It also provides for additional requirements under reporting procedures and also provides avenues for termination of guardianship if it could be shown with credibility that the guardian or conservator is not acting in the best interests of the protected person, either through abuse, neglect, exploitation of that person. This bill has made it through the House side, was amended a few times, and just passed through the Senate Judiciary Committee uncontested and has been placed on the Senate consent calendar. House Concurrent Resolution 6002 to encourage the Executive Board of the Legislature to continue researching childhood mental health and mental health services available to children in this state. This is a resolution, and therefore it's non-binding. In this case, the House is simply encouraging the Executive Board to do something. This bill has made it through the House and ended up at the Senate Health and Human Services Committee, where it's been tabled. House Concurrent Resolution 6003, encouraging the Executive Board of the Legislature to authorize the interim legislative study of long-term care services for veterans regardless of disability ratings, and to develop a long-term care plans for VA-operated, purchased, and subsidized long-term care facility. This bill was deferred to the 41st legislative day by the Senate Military and Veterans Affairs Committee. Senate Bill 1, the very first bill on the Senate side that was established for this legislative year, is still active. It is to modify debilitating medical conditions for medical cannabis use. This defines qualifying medical conditions for medical cannabis use. It removes the authority of the Department of Health to add conditions to the list of authorized medical conditions, and then, of course, removes South Dakota residents' ability to petition the Department of Health to add those qualifying conditions. So it basically sets out a specified list of conditions for which medical cannabis can be prescribed and used. This bill has made it through the Senate and has been referred to the House, gone through that committee process, and will be heard by the House of Representatives chamber on Monday, March 6th, by the full body of that chamber. Senate Bill 2, revised Department of Corrections reporting requirements concerning abuse and neglect of individuals in private contracted facilities. This bill has been signed by the governor. Senate Bill 4, modify court's authority to commit habitual juvenile offender to the Department of Corrections. This bill has made it all the way through the Senate and then the House, and will be heard by the Senate chamber on Monday, March 6th. Senate Bill 6, authorize community response teams to recommend alternative community-based resources for children alleged to be delinquent and children alleged to be in need of supervision prior to adjudication. This bill has made it through the process and has been delivered to the governor for her signature or veto. Senate Bill 7, clarify emergency commitments of severely mental ill persons by appropriate regional facilities. This bill has been signed by the governor. Senate Bill 9, modify discharge notice procedures applicable to developmentally disabled persons. This bill has been also signed by the governor. Will go into effect July 1, 2023. Senate Bill 10, expand certification options for interpreters for the deaf. This bill went through pretty clean. No real dissent on it. It has been delivered and signed by the governor as well. Senate Bill 37, revised provisions pertaining to the South Dakota School for the Deaf. This was mainly a language cleanup, went through the process, also uncontested, and has been signed by the governor. Senate Bill 64, repeal provisions related to the Jail Mental Health Screening Pilot Program and Oversight Council. This bill has made it through both the Senate and the House and has been passed by the full chamber of the House of Representatives and will likely be sent to the governor in the next few days. Senate Bill 91 revised certain provisions regarding the crime of rape and provide a penalty therefor. This bill is being closely watched by the South Dakota Network Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. It adds language to the statute defining rape to say that a perpetrator of such an act must know or should reasonably know that a victim lacks capacity to give consent to sexual activity. This would create an enhanced burden of proof for the state to prosecute the crime of rape committed against a person of diminished mental or physical capacity, basically saying that the person who's been alleged to have violated this criminal statute had to have known that the person lacked the capacity, or should have known that the person lacked the capacity. They have to prove that first, whereas before it was more of a strict liability crime. Either they lacked capacity or they didn't. This bill has made it through Senate, Judiciary, passed the Senate floor, nearly uncontested, was sent to the House side, where it is currently sits with the full chamber of the House of Representatives and has been deferred to Monday, March 6th for hearing on that in that chamber. Senate Bill 161 authorized legislative intervention into certain cases pertaining to election law. This bill has been sent to the 41st legislative day. Senate Bill 177. Provide for study of developmental disability services and provide for appropriation therefor. This bill has been tabled by the Joint Committee on Appropriations. Continued discussions about this study and if one can be obtained are ongoing between the legislature and the office of the governor. We hope that they're able to find a way to address whatever areas of concern that families might have around the developmental disability services to identify best practices going forward. Senate Bill 206, clarify good cause for the purpose of continuing an involuntary commitment hearing. This bill has moved through the Senate and also through the House of Representatives, where it was last read in that chamber and has been deferred to Monday, March 6, 2023, where it will be discussed and voted on. Senate Bill 208, require financial institutions to report exploitation of an elder or an adult with a disability. This bill has been tabled upon the request of the prime sponsor. In this case, this bill will not be discussed or heard or move forward any further this legislative year. That's it. We've made it all the way through the bills pretty quick this week. But I just wanted to give everybody an update on where these bills are now. This will be as I said before, this will be our last legislative update for the 2023 legislative session. If you have any questions over any of the bills that we discussed here today, the legislative process, how you can become involved and advocate for yourself, for your families, on issues that you feel strongly about, please call Disability Rights South Dakota, and we'd love to talk with you about it. This has been a pleasure this year, speaking to you about the various bills that have come before the South Dakota legislature. And if you enjoyed this, please let us know. We hope to have a new and improved version next year, so keep an eye out for it, and we'll try to get out any disability-related information to you in the best ways that we're able to. Thank you so much, and we'll see you down the road.